A healthy Amazon basin generates 80 decibels of ambient noise. 10 million species occupy this vertical space, creating a constant, loud negotiation for survival. Stepping off the float plane at a Western field station, you find a different world. The generator is running and meals sit cooling on the table, but the forest noise has dropped to 20 decibels. It is a held breath. The wildlife is still here, but it has stopped responding. Evolution never wrote a warning call for this specific intruder. The local species have no behavioral template to follow. This absolute silence is the true indicator of disaster. The world has simply run out of ways to scream. Near the tree line, the ground begins to ripple. Then the source appears. 8 feet of articulated, armor-plated chitin, moving with a fluid, mechanical grace. It weighs 50 kilograms. 40 pairs of legs churn the wet soil in unison as it moves towards you. It maintains the steady, patient pace of an animal that has never needed to run from anything in its entire evolutionary history. Rivers offer no protection. Arthropleura evolved in the wet coal swamps of the Carboniferous. It simply walks across the riverbed, legs working below the surface, while the body remains suspended in the current. An armored 50-kilogram herbivore is dangerous by sheer proximity. You are invisible to its chemical senses, just one more obstacle in its path to be routed around or stepped over. From a perch 18 meters up a strangler fig, the scale of the infestation becomes visible. Hundreds of them are moving through the mid-distance, clearing the forest floor in slow, overlapping passes. Arthropleura are detritivores. They consume the fallen leaves, rotting bark, and fungal mats that are essential for nutrient recycling. The math of this ecosystem is failing. A single adult processes 2 to 3 kilograms of organic material every day. In the Amazon, where the soil is thin and nutrients are scarce, that consumption rate is unsustainable. This consumption breaks the Amazon's nutrient cycle. The forest relies on floor detritus to sustain its growth, and as that layer vanishes, the entire system loses its foundation. This biology was optimized for the Carboniferous period. Higher oxygen levels and dense ligninous vegetation once supported these massive consumption rates. This is a biological mismatch. A machine built for a world that no longer exists is now systematically consuming its replacement. During molting, the creatures are vulnerable. They gather in low depressions to shed their armor, leaving their new exoskeletons soft and exposed for several hours. The air in these sites smells of ammonia and wet earth, a signal that the modern forest is beginning to interpret as an opportunity. Local predators are now attempting to adapt. You can find peccaries at these sites, testing the soft edges of the newly molted shells in a frantic search for a weakness. Larger predators are more cautious. A jaguar might circle the depression, but the sheer mass of the creatures usually forces a retreat. The risk-to-reward ratio is too high. Individual animals are learning, but the ecosystem as a whole cannot recalibrate fast enough to stop the impending collapse. Habitat destruction starts at the bottom. Ground-dwelling wildlife, like these poison dart frogs, are being forced into the canopy as their terrestrial life cycle is erased. Without the protective layer of leaf litter, the forest floor loses its ability to retain moisture. The thin soil compacts under thousands of legs, and the undergrowth begins to wither. During the rains, pheromone trails become erosion gullies. Water that should have been absorbed by the detritus mat instead rushes along these travel routes, undermining the roots of the largest trees. 200-year-old canopy giants eventually crash. Their roots have nothing left to grip. These falls tear holes in the canopy, flooding the dark understory with harsh, evaporating sunlight. This is a cascade failure. The system collapses because its foundation is removed by an organism that remains entirely unaware of its impact. From above, the devastation is visible as a massive, spreading scar. A path of brown, dying vegetation now cuts through the heart of the vibrant Amazon canopy. Survival becomes a matter of tracking the swarm's movements and scavenging what remains. You rely on heart of palm and Brazil nuts, mapping your daily route to avoid the pheromone corridors. The population will eventually peak, consume the last of the available food, and then experience a total crash. These creatures are not monsters. They are simply lost, placed in a world that evolved without them in mind. Extinction is this quiet, mathematical conclusion. It is the result of two worlds